Hi, here we are back for part 2 of our personality conflict series. We are looking at the basic 4 types of personality and how you might fit in and improve your communication style when working with the other types. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. And let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about the raccoon. So as I mentioned last time, typically, people fall into these 4 basic areas of your preferences for how you like to communicate, how you like to get along, how you just deal with life in general. Last time, we talked about the rooster, very direct, strong leaders. Today, we're going to talk about the raccoon. Okay, we mentioned there's 4. Next time, we'll talk about the golden retriever, and then finally the owl. But I think it's important to get that reminder. Last time we talked about, how difficult it is to cross your thumb the other way when you just put your hands together. Sometimes our perspective really affects how we interact, and where we're coming from is hard for other people to understand, particularly if they're sitting in a different personality quadrant. So today I have a picture. I want you to look at that, and I want you to know there's 2 very specific things there. And I don't know what you saw first. Typically, when I look at it, what I see first is actually, it looks like a big parka coat with the fur and somebody kind of walking into a dark spot. But if you look at it just a little bit the other way, it looks like a totem, like the head on maybe like a totem pole. So it's the same picture, but depending on when I look at it, how I look at it, how quickly I look at it, I might see something different. So our perspective does make a difference in how and what we do and in how people are going to respond. The perspective they're coming from can have a definite effect on that. So when we talk about the raccoon, what does that mean? Of course, raccoons, we typically think of them as cute and lovable, maybe a little bit of a nuisance getting into things. But when we talk about it based on the personality type, they're the risk takers. They're going to see, oh, that looks like fun. Let's go try it and figure out a way to make that happen. They're very outgoing. They make friends easily. They're the life of the party, fun to have around because they love fun. They motivate people because they're excited and enthusiastic about what's going on. In most of our groups, they're the networkers. They're who you want to send out to go meet new people and talk to businesses about what we do. They also like to develop people. They like to figure out, hey, do you need help with something? What can I help you with? How can we build and make this a better group, a better place to be? Now, the trick with some of that is they tend to be very easily sidetracked. So it can be hard to keep them on task because they are having fun. They're excited. They're very visionary about what's going on. A lot of times they will end up in a leadership role because they have a great vision for what they're doing, but they're not as detail oriented. So they're going to want to have those other personality types in their group that they're working with who can handle the detail piece of that for them. And because, like I said, they're so excited, they're very optimistic about everything. So they may seem a little forgetful because they got a lot going on because they're excited and they're making things happen. They talk about that. They're very talkative about what's going on. And so like I said, they do make friends easily, but it's likely they may not always remember your name. They'll see you and they'll know who you are, but they just can't quite, it's there on the tip of their tongue. They just can't quite get it out because they are so excited and engaged with so many different types of people. It can be very frustrating if you are one of those detail-oriented people because they're not. And it can be a lot to deal with. So one of the things in dealing with raccoons, you're going to want to learn to appreciate their vibrancy and their excitement about things. Okay, so as we talked about, most things that we see, books, stories, to keep the interest, to keep the storyline going, they're going to have those 4. And they're going to play to those specific 4 personality types. So again, with The Wizard of Oz, we talk about our 4 main characters in that group. Who would we pinpoint as the raccoon falling into that area? And so for this one, I think we're going to say the lion because he is a little scattered. He always talked. He always had something to say. He had these great visions of grandeur and just wasn't really sure how to make those things happen. And so we talk about, again, he's working toward courage, and we learn at the end, he had it all along. He stepped out and took the risks, particularly in helping and developing the others around him and being protective of them. So if we move on to our favorite crew with our wonderful talking dog, who would we throw into that raccoon category? Well, of course, it's hard not to notice Shaggy would be the non-detail oriented member of this crew that would have a hard time really focusing on everything unless it's food. They tend to focus on that. But getting everything going and always wanting to have fun. And he talks to everyone and he likes getting out there. And even though they're going to say, oh, we don't want to be the bait, we don't want to take the risk, that's who always ends up out there is Shaggy. And Scooby a little bit too. Scooby has a little bit of all of them, but he's a dog, so we'll let that one slide. So now I know in your mind, you've identified those people that you interact with that are around that fall into that raccoon type of personality. And they may make you a little bit crazy, again, depending on where you are on the spectrum of things to do. Now, also remember, these are our preferences. We can be trained. We can learn to communicate, to interact in the most appropriate ways that we need to. Most teenagers that we work with, and I work with a lot of kids, are going to fall into this category. Doesn't mean they will always be here, but for where they are right now, they're teens. They're learning. They want to be outgoing. They have these visions of what they want to do in the future, and they're excited, and they take a lot of risks, and they do a lot of things that as they become adults, they may not do anymore. So it's important to remember that we grow and evolve through these different types as well. And so the career path we choose may lead to skills being developed related to all of the different types of personalities. But when we talk specifically about where we are and trying to deal with a raccoon in a positive way and have a positive communication, first of all, you need to talk, not just listen. It's really easy when they're excited and they're sharing a lot of stuff to just kind of nod your head and go along. But really, communication is a two-way thing. They want to hear from you. They want to interact. Even though they may not remember everything you say, they want you to be a part of that. So interact with them when you can and talk. Allow teamwork. If you're in a group or organization and you need to assign tasks to people and there's some things that need to be done individually, that may not be the best place for the raccoon. Maybe where they need to be is the committee or the group that's going to have several people on it to work together, because that's where they thrive, is in that teamwork type of setting. And if you're the detail person that's trying to get these things accomplished, you may need to check in on those details every so often and just kind of see where we are. And then provide feedback. Hey, this is where we are, but we really should be here. So what do we need to do to move forward on that? But always show interest in what they're doing, because again, they're visionary, they're excited, they have a lot of things going on and they want to share that. They want to talk about those things. So show some interest in where they are. Beware of verbal attacks, okay, because they also can feel the pressure. If you're the detail person and you're coming at them, they may feel attacked and give you that attitude, or, again, think of those teenagers, that verbal kind of assault back at you. So just know that there's a tendency there for that to happen. And always in any communication situation, the only person we can control is ourselves. That's where exploring the different types of personalities, thinking about some tips as to how we can have a positive interaction with them can be beneficial to all of us in whatever group, again, maybe your family, maybe an organization that you work with on your job. Having positive interactions and impacts it's good for our mental health, and it's good to accomplish whatever goals we have set. We'll be back here next time to talk about the next personality type and hopefully help you address where you're seeing some personality conflicts. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. Log on to our website, curryextension.nmsu.edu. Click on Family Health and Wellness. You can subscribe to our newsletter, or you can submit a question for us to answer here at the Extension office.